People, deluded, I'm back again. Of course, as you know, the Premier League season is over and the transfer news, rumours and all those talking points are starting to run riot. Apparently, Sesko has said yes to Arsenal. Zubimendi has rejected our football club. We're linked with a Dutch left-back. And there's a bunch of stuff really and truly to talk about, people. As usual, I hope everyone's doing well. I hope everyone's blessed. Happy Friday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, of course, you know, where appropriate and whatever time you're watching this, or better yet, time zone. I appreciate you lot support. As usual, creative juices need to start flowing. I want to see some comments when we go over what we're going over. Subscribe and smash the like button if you haven't. Now, if you give me 30 seconds or less, people, I was about to make a very inappropriate joke there for the galley. But anyways, people, staying on task. You would have seen this surface yesterday, and I did do a video or videos on that. Make sure you're taking in your DG content, you know, after this video. And make sure you check out the analytical piece I done on Sesko. I told man about Benjamin Sesko. As usual, every Arsenal fan's an expert now, but he is a player I've said I like. He's raw. He's just turned 21. He's raw. He's 6 foot odd. He's got a decent amount of pace. He can play with his back to goal. He can score goals. He can play out wide, even though I think he's a striker. And he can be groomed by Mikel Arteta to go to the next levels. I've said this before, and I'm very confident of saying this. You know, if we don't sign him within the next 2 years, people are going to look at him and say, where's this guy been? Really and truly. We know his agent has talked him up. We know his agent has been pictured at several clubs. We know he's been linked with Arsenal Football Club, and apparently there's an admiration. When you're, you know, available for around 55 odd million quid, again, the price tag and the release clause and those rumours, dependent on the day and where we see these rumours, kind of fluctuate. It's a no-brainer, you know. Again, my first choice, if money was no object and we could get everyone and whatnot, my first choice would be Isaac, and then it would be Sesko, if I'm completely honest with you. But Isaac's a myth. 80 to 100 odd million for him, for Osimhen, for all of these guys, it's a myth, people. So if we can get a player that provides competition and doesn't necessarily disrupt the attackers that we have, and someone that can be groomed by Mikel Arteta, and that, you know, that's 55 million pounds, we kind of, where we save, you know, save some money there by not spending 100 odd million. If we could bring in a central midfielder and some other areas that Arteta wants, I'm a fan of this. But going over it again, people, Arsenal are ready to press ahead with their interest in RB Leipzig striker Benjamin Sesko. The player has made it clear to his reps that Arsenal is his preferred destination. Sesko's release clause is 55 million. Has been linked with Chelsea and Manchester United. Allegedly, Manchester United tried to bring him in, as well as Ramos Højlund. I'm all for it. You know, I want the best of both worlds. I want Sesko to obviously make friends at the football club, but we're not here to make friends. We're here to win trophies and things like that. So come and take someone's spot. Likewise, if you're Kai Havertz, you know, don't let him take your spot. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're Gabriel Jesus, get back to business. If you're Trossard, Saka, Martinelli, keep doing what you're doing. And then we've got a more competitive squad. Because if we're real with ourselves, we probably, or a lot of us Arsenal fans have probably felt we only have 12 players. And it's dumb to say that because we've got a lot more. But what I mean by that is whether it's, you know, the squad that played from the start of the season, or what you on paper, it, you know, would be Arsenal's strongest 11, you would have that, and then you'd have someone on the bench like Trossard. I think those are the 12 players that are trusted, give or take. We know the form of people like, you know, Gabriel Jesus, Zinchenko has meant they're on the peripheral. I do think Mikel Arteta trusts them kind of players, but where you're Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, random young players that have been on the bench, Fabio Vieira at the moment, none of you are really trusted to a point, at least where we was concerned fighting for a league title. So I do think we need a 20-man squad, and ultimately if we get him in, we've got a stronger and more competitive squad, because generally we did quite well coping with injuries, keeping everyone fit, but there was times where it looked like our players were fatigued. It looked like we needed a different option. It looked like we needed more, if we're honest. And, you know, last season, we didn't win a trophy, but it was good in terms of that aspect and many more. We need to get better at that. Mikel Arteta said, you know, at the start of 2024, we've got one of the smallest squads in the league, which is unacceptable, really. As the same way I praise Arteta and Edu for how they've assembled the squad and what we're doing, I know they're smart enough to know that our squad isn't big enough. I know they're obviously smart enough to consider if Arteta is saying that at the start of 2024, he had to have been saying that in the summer of 2023. So let's pattern up in that regard. So yeah, Sesko's allegedly said yes to Arsenal. Whole bunch of clubs are interested in him. Again, until people are holding shirts and saying that I watched Arsenal when I grew up, and what, he's 21, so I'm 28. Still think I'm 28. I'm 29. He's 21. He probably wouldn't have watched Thierry Henry, but until he's doing interviews on Arsenal.com, lying about how he watched Thierry Henry and all of these guys, and he's always been an Arsenal fan, and he's holding shirts, and he's taking pictures at the stadium, the training ground, we can't get excited. But it's for me, I'm excited if we get Benjamin Sesko, especially if we get, if he signs for us, we've got a striker for Football Manager. So yeah, man, I'm happy with that signing. People moving on. I don't know why this is tried to do me dirty here, but yesterday you would have seen allegedly Zubimendi has turned down a move to Arsenal. Now we've been chasing my man for about 2-3 years, and we keep hearing this. It seems like, in my opinion, he either stays at Sociedad or he goes to Barcelona, or he stays at Sociedad and waits on the next move of Xabi Alonso, who gave him his chance in Real Sociedad B. Good player, would love him, but again, unless you're a prime Modric, Pirlo, people like that, Tony Kroos, that kind of caliber. I'm not dissing Zubimendi. I'm just saying keep it moving, really and truly, innit? Like, unless it's them kind of generational players, then there's always other players that could do a job. Would have loved Zubimendi, would have loved Bruno Guimaraes, Douglas Luiz, Onana, all of the Kimmich, all of these guys could all offer something. I don't know why this website is acting up, people, but it's more or less said he's not leaving. He's holding out for either Real Madrid or Barcelona. So again, another one bites the dust. And it would have been, well, to be fair, it would have been just over 100 million if you activate Zubimendi's release clause, which is on 50 odd million euros. Then obviously we've just seen Sesko's price. No clue why the website's acting, but they can't flop us, people. Team News and Ticks and Charles Watts, that's a serious duo, people. Check out their YouTube channel, their YouTube and whatnot, people. Allegedly on Jarell Hato, who for me, if it was up to me, get him in tomorrow. I think he's a young talent that really could develop and really give Gabriel some problems at centre half in the medium to long term. In the short term, could probably do a job at left back, really. I think it's worth, though, non-biased, if I was Hato, to just sit on my hands and stay at Ajax for a year and keep playing. I'd love to bring him in if Ajax were open to us. If we had an unlimited budget and we could put some money aside for him and say, you're staying there on loan for a season. I'm sure we did that with Saliba when we signed him initially so many years ago. Even though it feels like Saliba's kind of a new signing, if I'm honest with you, because, it took him a while to really get an opportunity at Arsenal, and, he's been doing his thing ever since. But on Hato, it's been said 100% that in brackets, in brackets, Arsenal and Ajax will do us favours. We didn't try to convince him to not sign a new contract. We're already speaking to Ajax then, saying we will still be interested if he signs a new contract, and we'd like to get a proper fee for the player. It's been all friendly throughout. See, this little Ajax to Arsenal link up, Arsene Wenger, RIP Johan Cruyff, they'll be happy with that. Barcelona, let's get involved and swing us Frankie de Jong or some dodgy La Masia talents, people. It's time that the football purists and the beautiful clubs got back to where they needed to. In a lot of situations like this, the club would be getting into Hato's ear or his agent saying, don't sign a new contract, whatever wages you're on, we'll be paying you more. That's usually how things go down. But from everything I've been told, it hasn't gone down like that. Now, initially, we could have done that. We could have got into Hato's head, probably got Timber to start texting him and not got him to sign a new deal to obviously make it easier to prize him. But long term, that's bad for business. We've been linked with Hato. We've obviously got Timber. Once upon a time, we tried to get Lisandro Martinez. The Ajax and Arsenal link up, we need to keep them sweet, if I'm honest with you. And that's probably why we're trying to do that, coupled with the fact of Arsenal, we tried to do the gentleman's kind of thing. So bring Hato to the club if it's up to me. He's also spoken on Kudus, where it felt like he was waiting forever to leave Ajax initially, almost went to Brighton, was linked with Arsenal and Chelsea, ended up at West Ham, which all them teams' losses is West Ham's game, because he's a great player, would have been a fantastic option in our squad, can play all about the place, and a fantastic player, capable of getting bums off seats as well for the fans. Even last summer, Arsenal were talking to Ajax about Kudus. We didn't just have the wiggle room with PSR. The reason it took so long for him to go anywhere, so that's what we're finding out. Ajax were willing to hold on to see if we can make it happen because of the relationship we have with them, and ultimately we couldn't. And it's not the same, but that's probably why you saw the David Raya wasn't bought permanently. We gave 3 million a loan fee. We owed them 27 million. Would love Kudus. I mean, we signed Declan Rice from West Ham, so anything's possible, but you never know really and truly what's going on there. And I don't know where, Kudus could have probably got a move. Probably the one that was going to leave West Ham would have been Paqueta, but with these new impending betting charges, I don't know where that leaves him. Kudus would be a welcome addition, and he's been linked with Liverpool. Keeping up the theme with Feyenoord and Dutch players, people, well, just Dutch players, and we'll get onto another Feyenoord guy in a second. We have been linked with Justin Boujelo to replace Aaron Ramsdale because he's expected to depart. They've also been linked with, been linked with Liverpool, and apparently Newcastle are looking at such as well as Ramsdale, if you look at certain reports, people. So, yeah, man, apparently he's spoken himself. He said on Arsenal Liverpool, Those are two very nice clubs. Of course, it's always nice to be mentioned at big clubs. What I'm just saying is I'm ambitious. As long as I play for Feyenoord, I'll give everything for that. And first, I just want to focus on the Dutch team. Would I stay at Feyenoord? You never know, do you? That's football. I'm ambitious. I've always said that if the opportunity presents itself and a good club comes from abroad, I am open to it. I've always said it. Naturally, he wants to make progression, but then if you go Liverpool, Alisson's arguably the best keeper in the league. Well, to be fair, my keeper's got the golden glove, shameless. But Alisson's give or take with Edison the best keeper in the league. So you know you're being number two there. Yeah, Liverpool, massive club, all of that kind of stuff. Anfield, all of that sort of stuff. Arsenal, massive club, all of that stuff. David Raya is ahead of you. I think you're more closely aligned with David Raya than Alisson in terms of how he likes to play out from the back. But if I was him, who would I more likely? I know I'm going to be the number two and probably have to be on the bench. But again, I don't want him to accept that. Kind of what I said at the start. Come and take Raya's spot. If you're Raya, don't let him. More competition and a more competitive side. Arsenal and Arteta collectively benefit. But if you was him, it depends, because Liverpool, magical club, your old manager slots over there. You know, you might be able to take Alisson. You know, he might do what, Pep Guardiola did when he went City and he got rid of Joe Hart and used Claudio Bravo. He might utilize you in that. But then you look at Arsenal, respectfully to Liverpool, because it's a rich city with culture. London is the place, and you can't underestimate people wanting to live in London, much less footballers. Raya, Alisson, who's the better keeper? Respectfully to Raya, Alisson's up here, Raya's down there. So if you're him, some people might want the bigger challenge, but I would think I'm more likely to take Raya's spot, really and truly, than necessarily Alisson's. So it all depends, really. Apparently, he's available. It didn't say it there, but we have covered him before, and apparently he's available for significantly less than was reported last summer. So we'll have to look at that. Don't forget to hit the like button. Now I can finally say it. Keeping up the theme with Dutch players and actually fullbacks and final players, we've been linked with Hartman. You know I can't say his first name, people. I should have went on Google and saw the pronunciation. I apologize. When the player returns, apparently Arsenal are ready to enter the race for the final left back. When the player returns from a serious knee injury next season, Hartman has been admired by Arsenal scouts and is seen as a player who could make the jump to English football. So probably not one for the summer, probably one to monitor on a long-term basis. Shameless plug. I've actually done a video kind of, tactically analyzing him. So make sure your notification bells are on. That will be out over the weekend, people. I'm just waiting on to big up my editor because, he's making some better thumbnails for the channel and that. But, my work rate's mad. I'm demanding a lot of him and he's only one man. So once the thumbnail's there, I'll upload it and all of that good stuff. Got a couple videos for you. Look. One about Danny Almo as well. He could be a younger Trossard, but I digress. When you look at Arsenal, we've been linked with several left backs now. Gutierrez, couple of couples young Spanish fullbacks, left-sided fullbacks. Hato can play left back, even though long-term for me is a centre half. I'm not questioning Arteta. He can get things right, he can get things wrong, but Arteta has shown me even things I don't understand at the start. I'm like, right, that's what he's on. So if that's what he wants, get it. I wonder where that places Timber and Tomiyasu, because they can play a lot of places. I wonder what that would mean for Zinchenko, because obviously 2 years left on his deal, linked with Bayern Munich, probably behind in the pecking order now, especially if another left back comes in. I wonder what that is. I'm not against another defensive option. My first choice would be another Timber Tomiyasu kind of guy, whoever that is, that can play across the back four, because I think that would be good. But yeah, man, we're gonna have to watch that one really and truly. I don't know if I buy the Lokonga to Bayern Munich rumours. Company, what I will say is don't let the people them down, because Bayern Munich manager, don't rub out, because you might not be able to have a season like Tuchel had in it last year, innit? Don't let the people them down. It's like clockwork, Company gone to Bayern Munich, the Zinchenko rumours resurfaced because of the City links, and obviously he was linked with Bayern Munich before, and now Lokonga is linked with Bayern Munich. Company said he's the next Yaya Toure. I don't know, but to be fair, Bayern, Goretzka was a built figure. He's almost looking like me in that now I'm playing. Don't know what they put in the water in Munich, but they might make Lokonga a great player. But you said he's the next Yaya Toure. Take him off us and go and show us, people, really and truly. Lokonga has given a few interviews and he's more or less not burnt bridges, but he's realistic that it's a myth at Arsenal. Really and truly, he's got 2 years left on his deal, which is 1 year with an option of another one. And like clockwork, I don't know if I buy the Bayern Munich Lokonga rumours, if I'm honest, but for what it's worth, Bayern Munich are seeking a deal for Arsenal midfielder Lokonga as the first transfer of new head coach Vincent Kompany. who's obviously worked with him prior at Anderlecht as well, people. Sources have informed Football Transfers, however, that the former Burnley boss will work with Max Urban and Christopher Freud over transfer planning and wants to sign his former protege at Ajax via a loan deal in order to resurrect his career. I mean, I don't know if we'll be flushed with offers for people to take Lokonga permanently, but at the same time, what does a loan really do for Arsenal? It doesn't really help us, really, because if he doesn't shine at Bayern Munich, then we have a player next summer with a year left on his deal, and we don't really know what to do. You were hoping Luton stayed in the Premier League because they probably would have taken him on permanently. For him, it'd be a great club, really, you know, and it is a bit harsh to say he's failed to live up to expectation, but he kind of has. And the man himself said, I had a discussion with the club, and what was said is that the best solution for me was to leave. My time at Arsenal is slowly coming to an end. I think so. I had a discussion with the club, and what was said is that the best solution for me was to leave. I mean, you probably had that last summer. Another Arsenal medical man is set to join Manchester United. Arsenal physio Jordan Rees is set to join Manchester United with final negotiations taking place about his departure date. Rees has gained a reputation for working well with players and is regarded as one of the best in the game. So it could be a coup for Man United, and another one bites the dust. As we know, we've spent a lot and not really got significant sums in terms of players departing his football club. Gary Jacob of the Times has said Arsenal want to recoup a significant sum this summer, and the players made available for sale could include Aaron Ramsdale, Lokonga, Tavares, Tierney, Kirill, and Zinchenko. The expected sales of some of their homegrown players, including Eddie Nketiah, Reece Nelson, and Smith Rowe, will be key as Arsenal bid to comply with the Premier League's PSR. People, HITC has been told that Arsenal are open to moving on Gabriel Jesus this summer. Eddie Nketiah can also leave the club. HITC understands Palace, West Ham, Fulham, and Bournemouth are all interested. You know, farewell number 14. I'm persisting with Gabriel Jesus. I think Gabriel Jesus will be back next season. But next summer, if we're still saying the same things, I'd move him on. I'd keep him for another year. Still think he's a versatile player and he's required. The Lautaro Martinez rumours keep resurfacing every now and again, especially because we've previously been interested in him and he's in contract negotiations. Yesterday, you saw him and Inter Milan were kind of at a disagreement. Now you're seeing he's accepted into his new contract proposal. So that can put that to bed. What is this? Oh, that's in relation to Yusuf Fofana. Apparently, one possession in the middle third more times. Only one player has won possession in the middle third more times than him in Liga, and he has been linked with a move to Arsenal. And him himself has spoken prior. People, we all know Monaco CEO has said he could be one to leave. He's got a year left on his deal. Apparently, he could be available for 20 million euros. People, in which I'm sure that's enticing to Arsenal, AC Milan, Atletico Madrid, and Paris Saint-Germain, who have all been linked and name dropped there. Previously, Forest, Fulham, and West Ham United have all tried to get him. The man himself said, my future, I've spoken about with the hierarchy, isn't a secret. We had exchanges and they agreed to accompany me in this new stage. If a move doesn't happen, I still have a year left and I'll be happy to stay. So he'll run down his deal. We were in agreement that we would accompany each other in this process in which everyone should be a winner, be it me or the club. So sell him. They want to sell him for a decent fee. Obviously, I don't know if they'll want to sell him before the Euros or after the Euros, or if he would want to move before or after the Euros, because his price could go up or down and interest could go up or down. But 25 years of age, for me, I'd bring him in, man. You can never say it's not a low risk, and he would be on healthy wages. But 20 million, you could see what he could bring to the table. I'm all for it, really and truly, with his wealth of experience. And to be fair, if he stayed at Monaco, it wouldn't be the worst. They're in the Champions League for next season. So in relation to Fofana, Sesko, Zubimendi, Kudus, Lokonga, and anything else we've discussed, that's all I've got for now, people. Rest assured that if any other content, or I'll get content out for you if there's any other bits and pieces. Check out the rest of the content. Most importantly, enjoy your Friday at the time of making this video. Stay safe, stay blessed. Appreciative for tuning in. Peace.